to do jar sprouting today, which is really simple and doesn't require a lot of equipment, and it isn't very expensive for the bounty of food that you get. So I'm going to start with lentils. Most people have just plain green lentils in their cupboard. What I do to start off with, I get a mason jar. I can either use a sprouting lid like this, which is more expensive, or I can use just a simple ring and some mesh, which works absolutely fine. And actually the mesh that I have here is from a bag that I got my organic ginger in. So I'll maybe use it a couple times in the sprouting process and then recycle it at that point, but at least it got more use than just simply throwing it away. So this mason jar has got about a half a cup of lentils in it. And those are, like I said, just dry green lentils that you buy at any grocery store. I put in my water and I'm just gonna give it a rinse. Just because when you have dried beans and legumes and seeds and stuff, that some debris could be on them. So I just simply dump that out. Then what I do is I'm going to fill it up about an inch above where the lentils are, because it's going to expand overnight. I put this in a cupboard or in a room where it's dark, and I let it sit for 12 hours. So in the morning, I would take these soaked lentils and I would dump them out again. And what I end up with is a lot more volume. You can see they've gotten all plump compared to sitting at the bottom. And once it's at this stage, then it's just a matter of rinsing it in the morning and rinsing it at night. So it's literally 30 seconds to a minute to do this. And this is about for 4 or 5 days. And what I want to do in this rinse, and you can see it's a little bit cloudy, I'm going to give it a swirl. And then dump that out. And at this stage, when you're doing the rinsing, you want to get as much of that water out as possible. You don't want water just sitting in with those lentils. And we leave the mesh top on, and I set it on its side because what it does is it allows airflow. I put it back into the cupboard where it's dark and let it go again, and then in the evening, so 12 hours later, repeat that exact same step. And what you end up with are sprouts like this in about 5 days. And these sprouts are delicious just eating them like this. They've got about an inch long tail. And I also, I'll put them in a Buddha bowl, I'll put them in a salad. You can fold them in with your sandwiches, whatever. And my latest thing is I have a recipe that's going to be coming out at the end of the month on actually fermenting them in a chili sauce, so a chili spice. So that's something that's really cool because I'm taking two things like that increase the bioavailability of the nutrients from these foods. Sprouting does that, and so does fermenting. So you're getting a double whammy with this particular recipe. And so when it's in this stage, you're getting all the micronutrients, and it's just been released. By sprouting it, it's a lot easier to digest. Some people say they don't like lentils and don't like things if they're not prepared properly. But if you were to sprout them like this, or really give them a good soak and let them sprout for a day, I can promise you your digestion, the way you will be able to digest it way better, and the nutrients that you'll be able to absorb will be way higher. Now, lentils is just an easy one to start with. Another favorite in our house is just these sandwich boosters, and this is a good company, Mum's sprouting seeds. This pack is fairly expensive, but boy does it produce a lot. This jar had barely the bottom covered, and I went through the same process, soaked them overnight, and then rinsed and drained, and then this jar was full from just a little thing on the bottom. And what you've got here are lovely sandwich sprouts or for a salad. So, and they're really mild flavored, or you can get a mix that has more like arugula and broccoli and maybe radish, and it's got a little more peppery taste. So once I've got to this stage where I've got the tails, either that or this, what I do then is I lay them on their side in the natural light, and I let them sit out there for about 12 hours. And you can see they'll green up, the chlorophyll will build up, and that's good. That's important for the nutrition as well. One other step you can do is before you cap it and put it into the fridge, is put it in a bowl of water, and you can see all the little the shells of the seeds and legume shells will be floating around. Just eliminate those and then put it in a fresh jar. Put this in the fridge, and they'll last probably about 4 or 5 days. So, like I said, a really nutritious, easy thing to do. And then if you get good at this and you enjoy this, you'll be able to do tray sprouting, which are microgreens, and this is the first step for that process as well.